Alright everyone, welcome back to my channel, Baseball Talk with Nick Morgan. So today, there's been a lot of news swirling around Major League Baseball, including some changes to the game, some potential trade rumors, and some signings and trades that actually happened, which I'm going to go ahead and cover today. Nicholas Castellanos signs with the Cincinnati Reds, and Starling Marte is traded from the Pittsburgh Pirates to the Arizona Diamondbacks. So again, a lot of news going all down at once in Major League Baseball. We are just weeks away from pitchers and catchers reporting. I believe it's like 2 weeks or something like that. I'm so excited. We are almost in spring training, which means, of course, the regular season is right around the corner. We almost survived this offseason without baseball. I'm super excited for this news. A lot happened, and some big changes to two big National League teams. So if you guys are ready for this video, don't forget to drop a like down below, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Without further ado, let's get into it. So we're going to start off with Nicholas Castellanos signing with the Cincinnati Reds. Outfield free agent Nick Castellanos and the Cincinnati Reds have agreed to a 4-year, $64 million contract. So, of course, that means he'll make $16 million annually. And there's also an option for a 5th season, so he could potentially be with the Reds for the next 5 years. However, he could also not be with the Reds because there is an opt-out after the 2020 season and the 2021 season, and I think that might be important in Castellanos' case. The Reds may end up losing him depending on how well he does in 2020, but my thoughts and opinions on that in just a couple minutes. So overall, this is a really nice contract for Nick. He came off of a super hot 2019 with both the Detroit Tigers and the Chicago Cubs, and this just continues to add to the amazing offseason the Cincinnati Reds have had. Two big pickups this winter, including Mike Moustakas and Nicholas Castellanos. Since the trade deadline, they've also added some more guys to the list, including the big headline being Trevor Bauer in their starting rotation. So they definitely have a really solid squad going into 2020. I'm excited to see where they rank and how they place in the division. But this is one of the last big free agent names left to sign. So we have, I believe, Kevin Pillar is a free agent. I don't know if there are other bigger outfield names, but Pillar is known mostly for his defense. Castellanos' defense isn't that great, but the Cincinnati Reds definitely got a huge bat here in this signing, as we're going to see with this 2019 and his career numbers. In 2019, Castellanos had 615 at-bats, hitting .289 with 27 home runs, 73 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and an .863 OPS. Now, career-wise, 3,360 at-bats, hitting .277 with 120 home runs, 460 RBIs, 11 stolen bases, and a .797 OPS. So going into 2020, he's going to be 28 years old, which means either last year was the start of his prime or he is just entering that phase now. And that's going to be huge with the Cincinnati Reds because they need that bat. They could potentially go from a 4th place team in 2019 to a postseason contending team in 2020, which is super cool. I just love how that works. A lot of signings, some big names now joining the Reds roster. But here is my problem with the opt-out if I'm on the Cincinnati Reds. I love that Castellanos has just signed with us. However, there is this fact that he is going to be in his prime time now, as long as he can keep up his numbers from 2019. So you may end up losing him after 2020 or 2021 if he has a big splurge at the plate, hits about 30, 35 home runs, racking up almost 100 RBIs. He might see that he's worth more than $16 million a year, and which he might elect free agency and try to sign elsewhere or just for more money. And in that case, that is fine, but Castellanos is definitely with the Reds for at least 1 year, and that is huge. There's also been this trade rumor going around that since the Reds have signed Castellanos, they might trade Nick Senzel somewhere. I don't know what my thoughts are about that, but for the most part, this is still the young beginning years for Nick Castellanos. Right now, his impact with the Reds is going to be big and a lot better than Nick Senzel, at least at the plate. So defensively, Castellanos isn't the best, but he's still definitely that big bat coming in. You have Mike Moustakas, Nick Castellanos, Aristides Aquino, Joey Votto, Eugenio Suarez. Those are 5 big-name guys. Freddie Galvis can swing the bat. So you have a really solid lineup offensively. I think that's not going to be a problem at all. But I really, really like the signing. A lot of teams were linked to Castellanos at the beginning of the offseason. And overall, the Reds come out on top, and I like that. In 2019, as I just mentioned a couple moments ago, the Cincinnati Reds finished 4th in the National League Central with a 75-87 record. How far will they climb in 2020 is the question. For me, I would like to go ahead and say, just without looking at any other rosters or the depth charts, that they can easily be a second-place team. And I'd say that it could be a bold prediction, but they could get very close to 90 wins next year. They do have a very solid starting rotation, at least your top three guys, Luis Castillo, Trevor Bauer, and I believe Sonny Gray is still with the team. So those are three guys. The pen might need a little bit of help, but offensively this team will explode. Eugenio Suarez had a year. If Joey Votto can come back and be healthy in 2020, that's going to be huge for them. But definitely second or third place at the least. And I would say it's easily 85 wins if that offense can really come out and the defense and the starting staff can kind of hold the opposing team's offense and bats to a minimum. That's going to be huge. But I really think that this Cincinnati Reds team can go very far. I like this signing. Again, they could go from the bottom to the top within a matter of months. You know, the trade deadline was big for them, acquiring Trevor Bauer. They also signed, I think, another pitcher from out of the country. I don't remember his name at the moment. It's slipping my mind here, but Moustakas, Castellanos. You have now Castellanos and Aquino in the same outfield. So big power bats, defensively not the craziest, but again, I don't think that giving up a couple runs will be a problem for the Cincinnati Reds because they can create so much at the plate. That is easily a very solid pickup from the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, they took away a big bat on the free agent market, and I'm excited to see what they can continue to do here in 2020. Now, off to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They have given cash considerations in outfielder Starling Marte to the Arizona Diamondbacks in exchange for two prospects, including infielder Liner Peguero, probably said that name wrong, apologies, and right-handed pitcher Brennan Malone. So right off the top of the bat here, you see that these two prospects are guys that I at least have never heard of. They're both very young, I believe 19, 20 years old at the most right there, and they are pretty far away from Major League Baseball ready seasons. So if you're the Diamondbacks, who have a very solid farm system, at least at the moment, easily, these two guys would be given up in a heartbeat in exchange for Starling Marte, who immediately impacts and benefits your team going into opening day as soon as March. You know, these two prospects, though they are ranked, I think, pretty well in the Arizona Diamondbacks farm system, really don't mean a whole lot to you right now, just because you are receiving Starling Marte. They are at least 2, 3, 4 seasons away from actually getting time in Major League Baseball before they're ready. And you do have this big bat in Starling Marte. Now, I know his defense is very controversial. Some people think it's great. Some people think that he's not that great of an outfielder when it comes to the glove. However, I do think this is a really nice pickup. Of course, Starling Marte was linked to multiple teams this offseason, including the New York Mets, which was the big one. But I really think this is a great fit for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They have also been making a couple acquisitions here over the offseason, including acquiring left-handed pitcher Madison Bumgarner from free agency. They also, I think, picked up Cole Calhoun at some point, and now they have Starling Marte and Ketel Marte, which is pretty cool, but did not get Ketel Marte this offseason. So yeah, a nice little return here for the Pittsburgh Pirates, looking towards the future. But for the Arizona Diamondbacks, they're playing with the present, and I like that they just went ahead and acquired Starling Marte. If we look at Starling Marte's stats, in 2019 he had 539 at-bats, hitting .295 with 23 home runs, 82 RBIs, 25 stolen bases, and an .845 OPS. In his career, 3,647 at-bats, hitting .287 with 108 home runs, 420 RBIs, 239 stolen bases, and a .793 on-base plus slugging. So if you look at Starling Marte, he is definitely a middle-of-the-lineup bat for the Arizona Diamondbacks, but he has a lot of different capabilities that he can bring to the table here. He hits for power, as he brought in 23 home runs last year. Also, he brings in the occasional RBI, racking up 82 in 2019. He has legs that can bring him to at least 20 stolen bases next year if he could stay healthy. I mean, this guy at the plate is going to be a huge benefit for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Again, defensively is kind of a toss-up. Some people say he's great. Others say that he could be a lot better when it comes to the glove and how he patrols the outfield. But either way, for the Arizona Diamondbacks, kind of much like Nicholas Castellanos, you have him essentially for the bat and what he can do for you. Will he be the number 4 guy in the lineup? I don't know, but he'll definitely be somewhere between 3 and 6 for sure. He's going to be in the meat of that Diamondbacks order, and I think that's going to be super cool to see him kind of explode with a new team, change of scenery. So He is out there now with the Diamondbacks. He brings a lot to the table. And again, can they make first in the division with just Starling Marte and the addition to their starting rotation in Madison Bumgarner? Well, not necessarily, but they're definitely benefit record-wise going from 2019 to 2020. They'll get better. They can have a chance at a postseason spot via a wild card for sure. I mentioned that the Arizona Diamondbacks finished second in the division last year, and that was with an 85-77 record because, of course, they just got rid of Paul Goldschmidt. A couple other guys were hurt, and they were just kind of figuring themselves out in 2019 when it came to injuries and the loss of some key players on that team. However, now if you look at that outfield, Starling Marte, of course, is going to be a starter with no DH in the National League, at least not yet. He is going to be somewhere out there, either in center or right probably. But if we look at the depth chart for the Diamondbacks, they also have Peralta, Ketel Marte, Starling Marte, Cole Calhoun, and Timmy LaCastro. So they have a couple guys they can choose from. LaCastro's got really good speed as well. And I'm just really excited to see, the freight train David Peralta is definitely going to be a starter. They'll probably have Ketel Marte out there in center unless he's in the infield for secondaries or whatever. But I'm just really excited to see what this Arizona Diamondbacks team can do. I'm excited that Starling Marte is starting a new chapter here with the Diamondbacks. I'm personally a big fan of that team ever since I visited their stadium a couple years ago. But I really think this is a great trade on both sides. However, the Diamondbacks definitely won this one. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to drop a like down below, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead and let me know what you guys' thoughts are on the Starling Marte trade and the Nicholas Castellanos signing down below in the comment section. That's going to be it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.